Let me ask you something a little uncomfortable. Have you been studying English for months, maybe even years, and still feel nervous when it's time to speak? You know the words, you've watched the videos, but when someone says, "Hey, talk to me in English," your brain freezes. Why? Because you're thinking too much. And thinking too much is the biggest enemy of speaking fluently. Hi, I'm Anna, and this is English Cactus. If you're tired of only learning grammar and never actually speaking, then you're in the right place. This episode is going to change the way you practice English. Forget perfection. Forget translation. We're going to train your brain to speak naturally and with confidence, like you're having coffee with a friend. Before we begin, make sure to grab your free PDF of this lesson in the video description. This will help you follow along easily and remember everything we cover today. And here's how you can get the most from this episode. First, listen to the story. Just enjoy it. Then go back and try the shadowing technique. Pause after each sentence and repeat out loud with me. Match my rhythm. This simple daily habit will boost your pronunciation and fluency like never before. It's almost like you're talking to a real person. Now grab your coffee, relax. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Let's begin. Have you ever tried to say something in English, but your brain started running a marathon? Is this the right word? What's the grammar rule? What if I sound silly? That, my friend, is overthinking. And trust me, most people who want to study English go through the same thing. They stop themselves before the first word even leaves their mouth. It's like being at the edge of a diving board and never jumping. The water of opportunity is right there, but fear holds them back. And guess what? The fear doesn't come from a lack of intelligence. It comes from wanting everything to be perfect. Now imagine this. You know the word coffee, but instead of just saying it, your mind goes, wait, is it I want coffee or I'm wanting coffee? And while you're thinking, the moment passes. That's how people miss chances to learn. The moment you start translating in your head or questioning every little thing, you freeze. It's not because you can't speak. It's because you're stuck in the loop of analysis, and the longer you stay quiet, the more that fear grows. I've seen this happen so many times. Students who study English for years know the rules, even pass grammar tests, but they freeze in real conversations. Why? Because they never trained their brain to speak freely. They built a mental cage with grammar bars and vocabulary locks. It's like owning a bike, but being too afraid to ride it. You look at the pedals, check the wheels, think about the traffic, but you never feel the wind in your face. Learning English is about getting on that bike and riding, even if you wobble at first. And here's a secret that few people tell you. The problem is not your memory, your accent, or your grammar. It's the pressure you put on yourself to be perfect. Overthinking steals your voice before it ever gets a chance to speak. So instead of aiming for perfection, what if you aimed for connection? What if your goal wasn't to say everything right, but to simply be understood? That shift changes everything. And it brings us to something powerful. What happens when you stop thinking so much and just speak? Let me tell you something powerful. Fluency doesn't come from knowing every grammar rule. It comes from using the language, even if it's messy. I always say this to my students. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. We say gonna, wanna, and even forget words mid-sentence. But we don't stop talking, so why should you? If your goal is to learn and study English in real life, then the key is to speak. Speak early. Speak often. Speak wrong, and smile while doing it. When you stop overanalyzing, you start growing. Imagine a little child learning to speak. They don't stop to think, should I use present perfect here? No, they speak, and they learn from reactions, from corrections, from the rhythm of real life. That's the same way you should approach English. Not as a perfect puzzle to solve, but as a game to play. You learn the rules by playing. And the more you play, the better you get, even if you fall a few times along the way. A big problem I see is that learners wait for the right time. They say, "I'll speak when I feel ready." But that day never comes. It's like waiting for perfect weather before you take a walk. But here's the thing. Real progress comes from action, not from waiting. Try talking to your dog in English. Try repeating your favorite TV lines. Don't wait for confidence. Create it by practicing out loud. You don't need fancy words. You just need courage. So, the next time you want to say something in English, don't check a mental dictionary first. Just go for it. Let it be simple. Let it be real. If someone doesn't understand, try again. Use your hands. Use your smile. But keep talking. Because speaking without fear is not about being perfect. It's about being brave. And when you learn to be brave even a little, something magical starts to happen. Let me tell you a little secret that most language learners don't realize. Waiting for perfect grammar before speaking is like waiting for all the traffic lights to turn green before leaving your house. It sounds safe, but you'll never move. When you study English, your goal should not be perfection. It should be progress. And progress comes from practice, even when your sentences are broken. Fluency is like music. You don't learn to play piano by reading about notes. You learn by pressing the keys again and again. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who speaks perfect English but never says a word? Probably not. But I bet you've met someone who speaks with mistakes, but speaks a lot. That's the person who improves fast. They're not afraid of errors. They laugh, they learn, and they keep talking. Because every time they speak, they build stronger brain connections. They don't wait for the perfect sentence. They create real conversations with what they know. That's where true growth happens. There's something powerful about repetition. If you say a sentence 10 times a day, it becomes part of your thinking. That's why I tell students, don't just study English, use it. Choose one phrase. Like, "Can I help you?" Or, "What time is it?" And repeat it during your day. Talk to the mirror. Whisper it while cooking. Say it while brushing your teeth. Every time you practice, you're building muscle memory. And soon, your sentences won't feel forced. They'll flow naturally, like water from a stream. The danger of perfectionism is that it tricks you into silence. It says, wait until you're better. But better never comes without doing. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Be afraid of missing the chance to speak. Practice doesn't just improve your English. It changes your mindset. It turns fear into freedom. And once you start practicing every day, you'll need something more. Practical ways to speak even when you're alone. Now, let's talk about real-life strategies you can use today. Yes, today, to start speaking English more often. One of my favorite tips is, talk to yourself. Sounds silly? Maybe. But it works. When you're cooking, describe what you're doing. Say, "I'm cutting the tomato," or "Now I boil the water." These small moments add up. You begin to think in English without even noticing. And that's the real secret, turning English from a subject into a habit. Another powerful technique is shadowing. This means you listen to someone speaking English, maybe me in this video, and then you repeat everything they say out loud, trying to match the rhythm and pronunciation. Don't worry about being perfect. The goal is to feel the flow of the language in your mouth. Do it in front of a mirror, and suddenly you're not just watching English, you're living it. This builds your speaking muscles, just like a workout. Here's another tip. Use short and simple sentences. You don't need big words to have a good conversation. Instead of, "I am feeling extremely hungry at the moment," just say, "I'm hungry now." That's English. Real, useful, clear. Most native speakers don't speak like textbooks, and you shouldn't try to either. Start with phrases like, "How are you?" "I like it," or let's go. These are your building blocks, and they work anywhere, on a trip, in a store, or online. And finally, ignore small grammar mistakes. Yes, you heard me. Ignore them. If you say, he go to school, instead of he goes, it's okay. People will still understand you. Fixing. Mistakes is easier when you're already talking. But you can't fix silence, so speak first, correct later. All of these small actions, talking to yourself, shadowing, using simple phrases, are like little keys that open the door to fluency. And once you step through, it's time to take on a real challenge. All right, let's make things fun. I want to challenge you, but in a good way. This is the 30-second speaking challenge, and it's simpler than you think. Choose any topic, your favorite food, your daily routine, your dream travel destination, and talk about it in English for 30 seconds. No stopping, no thinking too much, just let the words come out. It's not about being perfect, it's about training your brain to keep going. Like running on a treadmill. You don't stop after one step, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say your topic is my morning routine. You could say, I wake up at 7, I brush my teeth, I drink coffee, I listen to music. Then, I take a shower. Boom. That's already 15 seconds. Don't worry if you repeat words or speak slowly. That's part of learning. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Try setting a timer on your phone and just speak. No grammar checking, no translation, just speak. Even if it's not perfect, it's real. Here's a little trick. If you run out of ideas, describe something around you. There is a chair. It is brown. I sit here, I like this chair. That's okay. You're building fluency with simple words. It's like building muscles. Each repetition makes you stronger. You can even record yourself and listen later. You'll be surprised by how much you're learning. The 30-second challenge is like a daily vitamin for your English brain. Quick, powerful, and effective. And here's the cool part. You can do this anywhere. On the bus, in the shower, while walking your dog. The only rule is, don't stop talking. This tiny daily habit can transform your confidence. Because the truth is the more you speak, the less you fear. And that brings us to something even more important. The mindset that makes all of this possible. Confidence doesn't appear like magic. It's something you build, little by little, every time you take action. Think of it like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets weak. But the moment you speak, even with mistakes, you make that muscle stronger. Many people who study English think confidence comes after you learn everything. But here's the truth. Confidence comes first. You speak with courage now, and the fluency will follow. It's not the other way around. One of the biggest mindset shifts is this. Stop fearing mistakes. Mistakes are not failures, they're signs of growth. Every time you say something wrong, you're learning what's right. That's how native speakers learned their language as children. So, if you say, he go to school and someone corrects you, great. You just learned. But don't let the fear of being wrong keep you silent. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Speak boldly, even if your grammar is still catching up. Another trap is comparing yourself with others. Maybe you hear someone speak fluently and think, I'll never be like that. But what you don't see is their practice, their mistakes, their years of learning. You are on your own journey, and that journey deserves respect. Instead of comparison, focus on your own progress. Can you say more today than you could last month? That's victory. Celebrate that. Every step forward counts, even the small ones. And finally, embrace discomfort. Speaking a new language feels weird at first. You'll forget words, freeze mid-sentence, laugh at yourself, and that's beautiful. It means you're stretching, and every time you stretch, you grow. Confidence is built through those awkward moments when you speak anyway. So next time you feel nervous, smile and keep going. Because the real power comes when you stop waiting to feel ready and just begin. Now, let me ask you something real. What if your English is not the problem? What if your fear is? What would happen if, just for 1 week, you spoke out, loud every day without worrying about being perfect? Imagine the confidence you'd feel. Imagine how fast you'd learn. You don't need another grammar book. You need courage. You need small actions, repeated daily. So, are you going to keep waiting until you feel ready? Or will you create that readiness by doing the uncomfortable things that help you grow? Tell me in the comments, what part of today's lesson helped you most? What topic will you gyumpt? Try for your 30-second speaking challenge. I want to hear your voice, even if it's in writing. This is your moment to stop thinking and start talking. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next lesson. We're just getting started, and I can't wait to keep learning with you.